Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live right here from inside the main build facility at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. I'm Tom. The ladies' man's right there by the camera, and we all know the master entering stage, right? Good morning, Bub. How we doing today?
So pretty good so far. Where's the camera? It's down here. I was
Right
actually
there,
looking
man.
into the light. I'll tell you what, man. It is Friday morning. It has been absolutely insane here at BEM so far. He's over there looking into the light, but he doesn't realize that you guys can't see that because I have that light offset, so he just made himself look like a dum-dum. I will tell you what, it has been insane here. It's Friday morning. I was actually completely sick yesterday, but still cranked it out here. Actually took my first day off the gym in probably like 7 months because of how sick I was.
You did.
So we are going to try to just cruise through this thing pretty fast for you.
Hey, Bub, I want to say good morning to you. It's been a great week here at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. Extremely busy. This episode is brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. That's BubbasExoticMotorsports.com. Make sure you visit us for over 30,000 online parts. Miss Outlaw Boutique, the moose is loose on the internet, Bub. The best in outlaw boutique apparel and accessories. It's all right there, isn't it, Bub?
Yep.
Miss Outlaw Boutique. Hey, tell everybody who was just here, Bub. We were just hanging out with our good friend, man.
Okay, yeah, so just one of the guys from the Geico team.
There you go. Gary Goodell was just here, ladies and gentlemen. Good friend and big fan of Bub's, the owner of this Geico team. And they were just here checking out, hanging out with Bub, loving the stuff that Bub builds. He says Bub's got incredible talent, and in fact, he does. Bub, this is the first generation Pro Touring Camaro you've been building for a client here. This came in a while ago, and you have just not come off of it. You've been like a dog on a trail with this first gen Camaro. First of all, take us through your design intent with this car.
Well, so, building this one is another one that a client has had sitting in their garage. Of course, a long story with it. Everybody thinks that the car is all original, numbers matching. So, not the case.
Correct.
Moving forward from that, client has you start with these things, as everybody knows, in the classic car and Pro Touring world, the restoration world, you can literally go in at 10 grand or you can go in at 200 grand, and that's what it is. It is nothing more than all about budget in today's world, because you can pretty much buy anything you want, especially for the first gen Camaro 67 to 69. We discussed that a little bit earlier last week with some of the original pieces we were showing off with some of the products on the table. We did show off the classic performance parts that came in for this ride, from the tubular suspension, the independent setup. But it's all about budget, man. It's if you've got 50 to apply to it, or if you've got 75, if you've got 100, if you've got 20, it's all about what your budget is, and you just build around that.
And Bub, unfortunately, a lot of people in this particular industry, and I'm not characterizing anybody, but the fact is, everybody wants a lot of car for a little bit of money. The days that most of these car owners are appealed to is when these cars would sell for $500 when they were used up.
Yeah.
So not the case when you're building these cars. This particular client has gone all out. They have been a pleasure to work with. At a moment's notice, when I've called them to say, come up, would you please inspect the work? They've been right there. They listen to your design intent, and they've let you go and get this vehicle done, Bub.
Yeah, it's been nice. Working with this client is it's been great so far.
Super client.
And I think that comes from a lot of things. I think it comes from one, they see the quality that BEM produces naturally.
Yep.
Two, there's a drive for them to want to get it done. It's been sitting in their garage for the past 15, 20
Since he was 14 years old, Bub.
The car's just been sitting there, and you just continually walk past it. Eventually, you just either want to pull the trigger and dump the project and cut your loss, or you go all in. And this client wants to go all in because they want to enjoy what's been sitting there that clearly they've held on to it for a reason. But in today's world, this thing was so far out from being just a little minor piece here, minor piece there. For it to become enjoyable, it would just be a continual issue one after the next. If you don't go all in, sometimes it makes it just not enjoyable, period. Then you do want to cut your loss after you've spent, $5 grand trying to get the thing running between fuel systems and ignition systems and, brakes and tires, just the basics to get the car out of the garage and driving around town.
Sure.
Then it's still breaking down every other weekend because the points are failing, or, a fuel filter got clogged in the tank or something like that. So in this case, client wants to go all in on this thing, and that is exactly what we've done. So as you can see, the body is completely separated from the frame. You leave the shot, it's good.
Oh, can you see?
Super wide.
Can you see this piece over here?
Yeah,
I was going to show people your wells. Okay,
so you can see that the body's been completely separated from the chassis of the car. The chassis has already been completely torn down. This was a 4-wheel drum brake system, fully manual. The car was originally a 4-speed manual, so we are converting that over. All of the powertrain, the drivetrain, suspension, all of it is going to be brand new and modern in this thing. As you can see, we do have the subframe ready to go. back in underneath of this ride and finish up all this shaving up here and get this thing cleaned up.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I see a nice new piece of metal sitting here, some beautiful welds in these corners. I know when you weld, you do this so that there's no buzz or vibration when the car is finalized. So what is this piece that I'm looking at here? It came with the firewall when it left the factory.
So originally, anybody that knows these cars, if it was a factory air car, even if it was just heat, not even air conditioned, there was a massive heater box that mounted to the front of these things, and they literally protruded about 10 inches, 12 inches out, and it was ugly. It took up a lot of space. It looked terrible. The blower motor sat over here that you have to remove literally the entire front fender just to access this blower motor.
Yep.
2 bolts, 1 plug, but the entire front end has to come off to access that, right? Just a terrible design from the beginning. But when you do start shaving all these things in, we are cleaning all of this up so there'll be no holes, no extra modifications. It will just be super clean, all finished in the factory satin black the way it should be done, as if this car rolled down the assembly line as smooth as it is. But with the upgrade to the classic auto air setup we're going to put through, this will have very small individual ports for the heat and the AC tubes that will be coming through from the interior compartment of the ride.
This particular car is going to be running a 383 stroker motor, Bub. What transmission are you going to link this to?
It's going to be hooked to a 4-speed automatic GM-based 700R4 cable-operated trans. Perfect setup for right around what this thing's going to be putting out, which is about 425 horsepower at the tire,
nice.
which is a very fun, comfortable ride in today's world. That's comparable to today's brand new Camaros, brand new Mustangs. So it is a lot of power that's going to be coming out of this ride, and we're planning it all down to the ground with classic performance product suspension.
And Bub, I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to step out of the way. I'm actually going to get the camera here. I want people to see the quality of what it is you built here. This is the actual subframe to the vehicle. It is absolutely stunning what is going on here. The subframe is quality, 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 Bub. It is nothing short of absolute beauty. You started, Bub, when you pulled this out, there was a lot of rust in this frame. There was a lot of things that were not quite right with this frame. And you've kind of taken it all the way. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in front of us here.
So the subframe from the car was completely coated in everything you can imagine since 1967, from grime to dirt to oil to grease to, Jesus, I don't know how many states this thing has been over or traveled across, or dirt roads it's been on, or what kind of stories it's been to, or driving movies the thing's been to, but this frame was a mess. So we went through, immediately stripped everything down, so it was just a basic subframe itself with nothing bolted to it. We took this thing over into our paint shop. We actually media blasted it, got everything completely stripped down, and then we scuffed the entire thing down using OSPO, which is a complete rust stop coating that you put on everything, so it won't allow rust to come through even after you etch prime it and you go through with a 2K high build filler. And then we sand this thing down with that final 400 and we shoot it in the satin black, which is the original trim black color that these subframes would have coming down General Motors assembly line.
Bub, I notice here that we have tubular control arms. Let's talk a little bit. We've heard you talk about those on the radio show. What is a tubular control arm and what does it do?
So upgraded version, we've already discussed this last week when we showed all these products. These are an upgraded version of the original stamped steel. They are pure strength. Everything from the design structurally of them to the way that they function to the billet arms that they are mounted on, the way that they pivot, much more smooth, much more reliable, and a lot more sturdy. So your handling is increased by at minimum 100 times. And also the independent style and design of that front suspension with the fully adjustable coilovers, so not only you can set ride height, but also set the way that this thing absorbs and hits bumps, which makes it that much better to create a street driving platform, a on-road, off-road style platform, a track use platform, whatever it is you're trying to do.
I see, Bub, we have cross-drilled and slotted rotors right down in this area. Why?
So that's part of the big brake kit that we decided to run on this car, front and rear. It is a 4-wheel powered disc brake setup that we're doing on this thing. This car will be fully optioned with everything you could imagine in a power form, whether it's power brakes, power steering, using a rack and pinion unit. This car will have everything you want in it, so it's going to be getting into a 67 that performs exactly like a 2018.
As Bub, we walk around here, we see very high-end urethane bushings on this. I'm going to pull back. As we talk about the power steering, the rack and pinion power steering, Bub, this gives everybody in the world a beautiful look. Look at how beautifully bent your lines are, your stainless steel lines over here, and everything is graduated into one area where your brakes are going to meet up. You can see the back of the disc brake platform, the control arms. Can you point out, Bub, the power rack and pinion area for us?
Yeah, so right here at the back of the subframe, this is the power rack and pinion. These cars originally did not come with a power rack and pinion. They came with a steering gearbox, and that was linked through with a couple different hard-mounted components, whether it be an idler arm, a pitman arm, also a drag link or center link, and then inner and outer tie rods and connecting sleeves. this system is a very modern system. What's funny is even when you are building General Motors platforms, everybody is using the Ford rack and pinions out of the Mustang. So even when you get these conversions, and that's always kind of been a go-to thing, even with people, maybe 10 years back when the Mustang 2 front clips were, a hot ticket item, you were using Mustang 2 from like 74 to 78, that car was in that era. Everybody was using those front ends to cut off from Camaros or maybe old Bel Airs or whatever you were trying to build like a modern ride to put that style of front end on it. So this is actually being built with a Ford front end.
There is a ladies' man on the floor right there, ladies and gentlemen, taking a break. Bob, why did everybody go to the Mustang 2 front ends? Was there a particular reason for that?
No, they were independent design. It was an upper and lower control arm assembly like everybody wants to do, so it gives you that independent suspension. It does give you that flexibility you want in the handling, but also allows you for that disc brake conversion that a lot of cars couldn't get on them.
So, Bob, this is it. We've gotten a good look at what the BEM first generation Pro Touring Camaro is actually starting to come together and look like.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish up on the firewall. I've got a lot of grinding, a lot of filling to do here. Get all of these holes welded up and get them shaved in. Only leaving what holes and accessories we'll need, which are pretty much going to be everything on the driver's side over. We will have the wiper motor, you'll have the power brakes, steering will still remain, you will still have speedometer cable, an emergency brake cable, the wiring harness. So most of these components right here will remain. They will be completely rebuilt by the time we're done. So everything from this firewall forward will be finished, and then once it's done, we'll go ahead and roll the subframe underneath of it, bolt it on, and that gets the entire front end of this car ready to go.
Excellent work, Bob. Thank you for the description. We're going to keep up with this thing tomorrow on the #1 rated internationally syndicated motorsports show, Bob. We are live 9 to 10 a.m. right here on the Bubba's Motorsports Facebook page, iTunes, Spreaker, Podbean, and all of them.
Yep.
Have you decided what the major topic for tomorrow will be?
Yeah, we'll probably just talk about this thing some more.
Nah, you go through that too quickly, Bob.
I know.
So people have to stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming with that, isn't there, Bob?
Yeah.
Want to say thank you, Bob, to you. Beautiful work this week. Again, just stunning work, man. Everything you touch is just absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah, it's turned out really good, man. If you guys haven't seen this, stay tuned for the Instagram postings that are going to go up.
Doing it today.
We are going to be doing a before, after, and trust me, it is insane because this front end, as brand new as it looks now, we've literally had, I don't know, maybe between 20 and 30 people that have already walked in that are either clients or friends or everybody just walk in, they see it and they're like, wow, who built this thing? Did it just come as a crate? So not at all. This thing is literally completely redone from 67 up, and it is brand new quality sitting here ready to go. So we have a long way to go on getting this girl ready before that beauty goes into here.
Stay tuned. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this BEM Pro Touring first generation Camaro, Bob.
That's it.
And it's fun to watch show this to everybody live.
Yep.
Correct, Bob?
Yep.
Till tomorrow morning, Bob, at 9 o'clock.
Just keep on doing it, Bubba style.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode has been brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. That's Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com, ladies and gentlemen. Visit us online. 30,000 parts and accessories for your vehicles, body kits, Camaro parts, suspension parts, everything you can imagine is right there from the biggest names in the in the world. Let's remember, Miss Outlaw Boutique, the moose is loose, ladies and gentlemen, on the web for the finest in outlaw boutique accessories and apparels, ladies and gentlemen. It is Miss Outlaw Boutique. Man, she's sexy in those pictures too. The Outlaw was walking around in here, and her mom was yesterday. Holy smokes, hard to get the work done, ladies and gentlemen, when that kind of stuff's going on. It's pretty crazy, I'll tell you. Thank you to Gary Godell from Miss Geico, the fastest man on water, stopping by today, spending time with us. He was slobbering all over Bub's work, understandably so. I slobber on. I've been working for him for 16 years. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Bubba's Motorsports Facebook page, iTunes, everywhere else. Let's reach out and touch somebody's life in a very positive manner, can we please? Let's open the door for somebody who's got their hands full, an elderly person, somebody who's just stepped out of surgery, whatever the case may be, open that door for them. Let's put shoes on the bottom of somebody's feet that have a hole in them, can we please? Man, they don't feel like having wet feet and everything like that. Give them a pair of shoes, guys. You got some in your trunk. Old pair of gym shoes or something like that. And let's make sure that everybody's eating. Can we please, ladies and gentlemen? If you see somebody standing there at the corner, make sure you take them right there across the street to Citgo, 7-Eleven, something like that, ladies and gentlemen. Get them a protein shake and a power bar, or a her, man. It's cheaper than your designer cup of coffee. Little man, Bubba and I are going to go get something to eat. He's sitting right there waiting to go. He knows what time it is. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep on doing it Bubba style.